Good afternoon and welcome to 660 here at Mad Anywhere. You're in for a real treat this afternoon as we hear from 6 startups pitching their big idea to Walgreens, one of the world's largest pharmacy chains. Good afternoon, my name's Jeremy Basset and I run a company called CoCubed, and we sit at the nexus of helping the world's largest corporates engage with the world's most innovative startups. Here's a 30-second overview of what we do. What I love about our work at CoCubed is the opportunity to understand what are the big challenges that the brands are facing and find the world's most innovative solutions that meet those challenges. And in many ways, there's never been a more important time to do this. As the world evolves faster than ever, as an industry, we need solutions that are more effective at connecting with the consumers that we serve. We need solutions that are more efficient in optimizing our ad spend, and we need to work in a far more agile way. And that's really what today is all about. It's about equipping the world's biggest brands to work with tools and technologies that can help them be more efficient, more effective, and more agile. For you, today is also a glimpse into the future of the industry. Startups are inventing this future that is far more efficient, effective, and agile. And this is a chance to sit back and see this future unveil itself in front of you. But I also want you to be leaning forward, to be thinking about how can you be applying some of the technologies that you're going to see here today in your own brand or in your own agency. There's never been a more important time to deploy these technologies. So please do see this as a pitch, not just to Walgreens, but also a pitch to you as well. A few months ago, Walgreens came to us with the challenge of how do we connect with consumers in a more personalized way around the issue of holistic healthcare. And if you think about it, the healthcare sector is incredibly complex and can be quite confusing. And so this brief is a brief that is relevant to healthcare, but it could also be applied to a lot of other industries. What we then did is we invited startups from around the world to apply to Walgreens for the chance to engage with them through a 20K paid pilot. The way this is going to work is we've invited 6 companies to pitch their big idea to Walgreens. They're going to have 3 minutes each to share their idea and then a couple of minutes questions from Walgreens. But to tell us more about the brief from Walgreens, we're joined by Marni. Marni, welcome to Mad Anywhere.
Hey, Jeremy, how are you?
Yeah, good to see you.
It's great to see you virtually.
Yeah, likewise. Look, thanks so much for joining. Marni, why don't you give us a bit of an intro to Walgreens and yourself as well, your role there?
Sure. So I think people on the phone from Europe are probably more familiar with our Boots brands. I'm part of a company called WBA, Walgreens Boots Alliance, that owns Walgreens, the biggest chain drugstore in the US, and Boots, the biggest chain of drugstores in the UK. So we're a very formidable presence in the healthcare market in both countries. And we have big aspirations to innovate, to better serve our customers in a more personalized, curated, and holistic way. And I'm the director of a group within WBA that's called Consumer Healthcare Futures. We have been set up only in the last 7 months to really work differently. A lot of the work we are doing is with startups, and we're really focused on bringing breakthrough innovation for our own brand propositions. And so I'm focused today on a brief for Walgreens. And I'm really excited to find out what the pitches are going to have in store for us.
Brilliant. And talk us through the brief. I'd love to hear a bit more background. Where's the challenge coming from? What are you interested in?
Sure. So we are, at the heart, a bricks and mortar retailer, and really aspire to serve our channels our consumers in a much more omni-channel way. And really, at the heart of healthcare is being personalized. For each person, their journey toward good health, better well-being is personal. So being able to serve our consumers on more of a one-to-one basis is a real competitive need that we have to stay relevant in a marketplace where consumers are really demanding that brands cater more to them on a personalized, holistic level, rather than just selling single products, really focused on how we can deliver more wraparound solutions and engage with consumers differently, not only delivering products, but also delivering improved experiences.
Amazing. So a great opportunity there for WBA, but also a great service to consumers. And when you start to think about the startups that would be attractive or perhaps relevant to you, what are you going to be looking for? What's the criteria you're going to be applying today?
So we're really looking for things that we can't do ourselves. And a lot of, I've had a little bit of a preview of the pitches in advance to get a sense of what I might see. I would say all of these startups have technology that looks really differentiated and exciting. We're looking for ways to engage with consumers differently. So either to learn more about them, to better connect them to the kinds of products and services we can provide, to connect them better to our stores, to connect them better to each other. So I'm really interested to see what the options might be from a group of smart people with great ideas, with access to technology that I don't have right now. I think we're we're probably in the innovator's dilemma that most big companies are, which is huge market cap, very slow moving, not a lot of opportunity to build new stuff internally. So being able to reach out to the startup community for more nimble, more, grassroots, really consumer-focused solutions, I think is a major opportunity for us.
Well, let's hope we can shake things up a little bit today, Marni. We're going to kick things off right now, though, with our first pitch. And of course, it all begins with the consumer. And a company that's doing some really interesting work around bringing a unique approach to consumer insights is Olvin. And to explain more about how they can help brands to unearth consumer insights that are simple, actionable, and predictive, here is Sam. Sam, over to you.
Hey, Jeremy. Thanks for the intro. Marni, thank you for the words and letting us pitch today. I have a shot clock, so I'm going to get cracking right away to kind of answer why Olvin exists, what we can do for Walgreens, and where we think we can really be of added value to help you accelerate that process and get connected to your consumers in the real world. We know the real world and brick and mortar is unloved and unpersonal compared to online. Everything's got really involved online, and you know that those recommender engines telling you what you might be interested in are almost too good, but it doesn't exist in the real world. And that's why we built our Almanac platform. Almanac crunches a bunch of data to help companies in the real world access insights that don't just look back, but also look predictively around their consumer and around the trade in their local area. So we know that businesses know what happens within their four walls. This is all about connecting that up and understanding what happens between the gaps of stores. We know every physical world business also wants to do these three things. Tell me a business that doesn't want to grow its revenue, and I'll pay for their business. But we want them to help them to continuously grow revenue by being more personalized and more connected to their customers, increase loyalty by getting repeat custom and giving them what they love and what they want more of on a local level, and then obviously bring operational excellence to the store. So this has a huge knock-on effect to consumer need and consumer behavior. We do that by curating and harmonizing data from a various potpourri of sources, from geospatial to public and financial data, whether to really build a 360 view on what influences a consumer's desire to visit a particular store or a particular neighborhood and how that changes over time. And the reason we do that, curated, is because we can do it at scale. So we cover more than 14 million points of interest, 180 million shoppers across the US. We say 10 trillion outcomes, but it's probably more than that. It just means we've done it for a long time, and we know all the variables that go into why consumers decide to go into store and how that's underpinned. So how can we really help Walgreens shopper marketing, consumer insights, operator, and merchandising teams to really get under the hood of what customers are looking for in the real world? Well, we can help them understand who their consumers are by demographic, temporal, and spatial analysis in an instant. So over time, where consumers are moving and how that trend is evolving. How we can do granular insights on areas and see how neighborhoods are evolving over time in terms of footfall and how that's distributed. Looking at how your competitors are doing in the context of how things are evolving. So we have over 2,000 chains in the platform that in an instant, you can see how predictively and historically that has evolved. And you can see where Walgreens sits in a local community. So how have networks evolved to contribute to consumer journey? How do they get there and where do they come from? So we're really excited to work with Walgreens and give us the opportunity to really improve that consumer experience in the local stores and get started. Thank you very much.
Well done, Sam. Right on time there. Marni, let's jump straight into questions.
Thanks, Sam. Super exciting technology. And I would love to hear your thoughts on how Almanac might be able to help us kind of supercharge the power of our loyalty programs. We've got, in the US, Walgreens has 100 million My Walgreens card holders. And I'd love to know how Almanac might be able to help us better reach them or personalize our offerings for them.
Absolutely. So really looking at what consumers are in terms of demographic, in terms of occupation, really gets under the hood of what they may be looking for in a local area. But most importantly, we can also see whether those consumers are truly loyal to the Walgreens brand, or whether they may be visiting competitors or looking elsewhere, potentially someone like CVS or Walmart for alternative products. So we have a networks feature that can tell you on a really localized level whether or not there is a good affinity and loyalty. So we built this whole matrix infrastructure under there, and then layering that into your loyalty data, I think, could transform a really granular level of insight in terms of understanding what they're looking for.
That's great. So it sounds like, the US is a big country. 100 million people is a lot of people. It sounds like the kind of data that you could provide would help us get a better sense of where the person is and what their specific competitive set looks like. Can you also tell us sort of what kinds of trips they're on at our competitors? So what are they doing when they're in CVS or Walmart? What could we attract them to Walgreens to do with us instead?
So we don't really do what goes on in the four walls of a CVS or a Walmart, for example, but we definitely tell you what the patterns are of a consumer behavior. So if you think, great, I've got a customer on the Walgreens loyalty program who is using the loyalty card sporadically, we have 180 million shoppers to tell you, right, for every one trip to Walgreens, they're making 5 to CVS. And so that is kind of the way we want to overlay that data and see, is that customer truly loyal, or can we improve that? And what are they getting at CVS or in another store that we're not providing them at Walgreens right now? So I definitely think there's scope for that. And with the 180 million devices that we can kind of measure and analyze, we've definitely got the scale to match your loyalty program scale.
Excellent. Thank you, Sam. Thank you, Marni. That's unfortunately all we've got time for today, but it's time to move now to our second pitch, and we're going to be hearing from a company that is taking these insights that Olvin can provide and using that to then create great content with influencers. So with a fresh approach to influencer marketing from Vamp, please welcome Grant.
Thanks, Jeremy. Marni, great to meet you, and really excited to be here today to show you how we believe Vamp's influencer marketing technology can help Walgreens connect with its customers on a more personal and supportive level. Now, we believe influencers are the answer to this question, not just because more people are spending more time on social engaging with these guys, but actually because studies have shown that upwards of 60% of people now trust what an influencer says about a brand more than the brand itself, which is crazy and a powerful statement, but one that Vamp, we recognize and we see it in our work every day. Our technology, in order to best leverage this, leverages what we call the power middle influencer, those creators that have anywhere from 5,000 to 250,000 followers. They're not celebrities, they're not reality stars. These are real people that have built an authentic audience based on their personal journey and how they communicate that through their content. And they sit right at the intersection between relatability and aspirationalism. And it's that kind of fusion that creates the explosion that we've seen in influencer marketing in terms of how it delivers engagement, awareness, and even conversions for brands. So it stands to reason that if Walgreens can tap into those personal relationships, we can actually absolutely build a more personal relationship with those customers. Now, how do we ensure that those influencers are authentic and can deliver upon that brief? Well, that's absolutely where Vamp comes in. Our technology, first and foremost, we want to make it simple. We don't allow influencers on the platform that don't have that authentic audience that we've spoken about. We only allow influencers on there that have a brand safe profile and that are capable of creating great content. So we've already done that vetting process up front, and our technology enables you to brief them really quickly. We have a dynamic pricing algorithm, so every influencer gets paid fairly, but gets paid fairly in terms of what they're contributing to the campaign. They submit their content for your approval, and it goes live, which we then amplify to go even further. And on a brief of this size, that £20,000, look, you could work with up to 50 influencers within the space of a couple of weeks, all posting individually. But perhaps to best unlock this particular brief, you might want to use the platform more strategically. Leverage maybe 4 or 5 influencers that represent different aspects of your customer base, be it young professionals or parents, and have them post regularly, documenting a personal journey that aligns perfectly to a Walgreens product space, and documenting that journey that they have, which we then amplify to deliver more traffic and more awareness. And, you know, this can be applied to any of the platforms that are out there, but we see Instagram really as that blank canvas where you can not only have static images, product shots, but it could even do lives with Walgreens ambassadors, maybe head pharmacists, talking them through a journey, which we know we can then boost leveraging our data set to deliver even return on ad spend and better higher engagement. This is an approach that we've used for multiple brands in the big pharma and FMCG space in particular, and one that we hope to replicate with Walgreens as well.
Fantastic. Thank you, Grant. Marni, we've got time for a question or two. Any questions?
Sure. Grant, thanks very much. I'm a huge believer in influencer marketing as a way to authentically connect with consumers. So I think Vamp sounds like an exciting platform for us. I was wondering, you know, when we think about influencers, it's obvious how younger people and maybe working professionals are influenced by influencers or connected with influencers. We have a lot of consumers who are older, and a lot of our highest value consumers are older consumers. How do you guys approach a group like that who may be less kind of the average target for influencers? How do you reach older consumers?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that, I mean, one of the things is to recognize that, you know, there's no one size fits all approach. There's definitely going to be areas of ages that you may not reach with influencers. But what we've always recognized has been really powerful is the content that you can generate. How can you leverage the creator community to produce content to reach audiences that may not fit that influencer demographic, but that you can leverage in other channels to reach those guys? And I do think that as things are happening, people are aging up into different platforms, you are able to reach those different audience sets, but it's about knowing, the right platform for the right time, what the message is, and then how do you get the best from it.
That's great. Okay, so it sounds like it's not a crazy idea. Is there a way to identify influencers who might have a specific condition, say like diabetes or back pain? So we could actually, link a condition to the kind of content that they would create?
Yeah, absolutely. That's what we would have in mind for this kind of thing, where our ability to brief not only allows you to see all of their audience demographics, but build in specific personalized questions so that when they apply to your campaign, they are answering things of, that nature, whether they have a condition that they would be comfortable sharing about in the context of a partnership with Walgreens, and how you would go on from there.
Excellent. Cool. Thank you, Grant. That's a really interesting pitch, and well done with the Q&A too there. We're going to jump into our third pitch now. And for our third pitch, we're going to be looking at how do we connect with consumers in a way that brings all of the content that Walgreens has and makes it more accessible and more personal to the consumer. To tell us more about this, we've got Connexus, and from Connexus, here's Graeme. Graeme, over to you.
Thank you, and good afternoon. Hopefully you're seeing my screen. So in answer to that question, I guess the first thing to say is you're well on the way as a brand, in the sense that you've got lots of great content to help consumers with their health and well-being across things like videos, Instagram posts, articles. However, that content isn't accessible where it should be to be most useful to consumers. So the content is underutilized because at the moment it basically sits in channel silos. And the issue with your content being in channel silos is you're missing an opportunity. So when a consumer is in your online buying journey, they're either missing that educational or influential content, or they have to leave in search of it. And we know that once a shopper leaves the buying journey, there's no guarantee they're going to return, and that means you're losing sales. So from a Connexus perspective, the Connexus visual commerce platform is all about solving that problem. So improving conversion and sales uplift by automatically integrating the most relevant social and marketing content across each buying journey and also making it shoppable. So very quickly in terms of the platform, which sits here, essentially what the platform is doing is looking at two data sources. First around content, so that's marketing, social content as well as product, and then customer data to understand the profile and needs of each customer. And essentially the platform does two things. It decides what piece or pieces of content to deliver for each visitor or shopper in one of your own channels, be that in your e-commerce shop, through CRM communications or mobile app. And then it delivers that content in real time into that journey. And we're using machine learning across the platform. Is a fully automated and scalable approach. Very critically, just to be clear here in terms of the platform, it's fully intelligent automated. So from a content perspective, identifying, tagging, integrating a social post, your videos into the buying journey, is fully one-to-one personalized. We're using machine learning to make everything shoppable, and we're also driving insights to understand what content actually leads not only to engagement, but to sales uplift. Very quickly off the back of that, an example in the consumer health space of a brand we work very closely with, Johnson's. On johnsonsbaby.com, over the last year, we've improved their conversion with this approach by 152%. Excuse me. Engagement is up over 100%. And bounce rate down by 30% also. And just to finish off, just give you a little bit of granular detail, a couple of findings here in the last few moments. We've seen, for example, with Instagram, conversion 70% higher on influencer post versus brand. With YouTube video, for example, integrated into journeys, 20% incremental increase in sales off the back of that capability. So it looks like my time is up. And happy to take any questions.
Great. Thanks, Grant. Yeah, some impressive results there. Marni, let's jump straight into questions.
Super interesting. And I'm wondering if we might be able to curate content based on specific conditions that consumers are suffering from. I'm assuming yes, but I don't want to assume anything.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, at the end of the day, the platform is developing deep content intelligence on the content side, and then is understanding around the customer and the customer needs and matching those two things. So with the right conditions, we would certainly be able to do that.
Great. Okay. So if we, let's just say we created a diabetes content platform, for example, there's probably a lot of content that we have that others already have in the space of diabetes. If we wanted to then link purchases into that, is there a commerce part of this as well? I think you mentioned visual commerce, so I wanted to know more about that.
There absolutely is a commerce piece. So for us, at the end of the day, absolutely we want to drive engagement, help the consumer, but we also want to make it simple for them to be able to use that content and the education or the inspiration they get from that in order to then seamlessly move into a buying journey. So through the machine learning, it's not only about putting the right content in front of the right customer at the right time, but seamlessly enabling them to then go into a shopping journey off the back of that. And the platform enables that capability.
Fantastic.
That's great.
Great. Thank you, Graeme. Do stick around. We're going to be awarding the winner after these 6 startups have pitched. But right now, it's time to head on to our fourth pitch for today. So we've looked at how you can use content and personalize content to better personalize healthcare for people. Another way to do that is through conversational commerce. And a company that is bringing innovation to this space is Cavai. And from Cavai, we've got Dan Jones. Dan, over to you.
Thanks very much, Jeremy. Thank you very much to MadFest and to Walgreens for giving us the opportunity to present here. As Jeremy mentioned, so Cavai has a conversational piece of technology that can help Boots achieve and Walgreens achieve a high degree of personalization. To introduce the subject, the inception of Cavai was designed specifically to improve consumer engagement online by taking a much more user-centric approach that's been hitherto been taken. So what does Cavai's conversational technology enable? Well, our cloud, basically what it does, it enables a creation of conversational ads that can be delivered in all display areas on any publisher globally, programmatically, at scale on all screens. To address personalization, the decision tree-based technology that powers Cavai, it enables a really controlled dialogue between your brands and your customers, basically within the frame of a clickable display format, which is pretty cool. And the engaged users take themselves on, if you will, a personalized micro journey. In order to bring this concept of conversational ads and personalization to life, we've created quite a cool, fun video for you to sit back and enjoy for a couple of seconds.
When I go online, you might already have a pretty good idea of who I am. You know that I'm a woman between 30 and 40, and you might even know something about how much I make, what my marital status is, and whether or not I'm into skincare. And I'm actually 61 years old, so I'm really into skincare. Pretty soon you won't know those things. It's not just the death of the cookie. There's a bigger shift happening in the industry as a whole. We're moving from stalking to privacy. We know consumers prefer personalization, but we also know that they don't want to be tracked. This might seem like a paradox, because how can we offer something personal without knowing anything about the person? We ask them. Conversational advertising offers a simple solution. Instead of guessing which product people are interested in, they tell us. This way we achieve all the benefits of personalization without having to rely on the data. Most forms of conversational advertising so far have been based on artificial intelligence, taking months to build something up that's far too often ends up replying, "Sorry, I didn't quite catch that." With Cavai's technology, you can use conversational advertising in all your display efforts and major social platforms. Any format that was previously just a static image in a banner can now be an engaging and dynamic interaction between a brand and a person. Putting conversations into your standard ads means you get all those clicks you might need to report on, but with the added benefit of building a relationship with the consumer, recommending specific products based on stated preferences, learning more about your audience, providing helpful information, and increasing brand awareness and loyalty. I could go on, but the bottom line is that we all, people and brands alike, love to talk and be heard. So engage, don't impose.
I hope that brought to life the personalization piece that Cavai can bring. So in quick summary, we're creating highly engaging conversational creative ads that are deliverable across the entire display ecosystem. They provide a high degree of what we might call lean-in interactivity, and with which you gain the user's attention, and you use the decision tree-based technology to take them through that little journey. So what you're able to do ultimately, I guess, is to qualify the consumer's needs and wants in a personalized fashion. And by doing so, you can help them discover, learn, and you can educate the consumer about all of your brands. Thank you very much.
Fantastic.
Do you have any questions?
Thank you, Dan. Yeah, we've got time for one question, Marni. Do you want to jump in with a question?
Dan, I love the idea of users telling us what they want, and I love the idea of ask, not impose. I was just wondering whether we could include links in this conversation where we could take people to relevant content or places where we could link them to an experience where we could sort of help them with their health and well-being.
Absolutely. So at the end of the conversation, because they're taking themselves through a specific pathway within the decision tree, at the end, you can provide a click redirect that can take them deep link to a page within any of the websites of Walgreens. So absolutely, yes, perfect use case.
Okay. Fantastic. Thank you, Dan. Unfortunately, that's all we've got time for today. But we're going to head over to our fifth pitch. So we've looked at conversational commerce. Another opportunity to personalize, though, is to take the thousands of experts that Walgreens have in store and to be able to somehow connect them to shoppers, whether they be online or in-store, in a more personalized way. A company doing that through e-commerce is called Go In-Store. And to tell us more about Go In-Store, we're joined by Alicia. Alicia, over to you.
Hi, thank you so much. My name is Alicia and I am from Go In-Store. So who are Go In-Store? We are the creators of video-powered retail. This world we live in is new. It's not unique to COVID. Walgreens customers are moving online, which is a fiercely competitive world for pharmaceutical products. In this world, customers are fickle, changing their loyalties quickly based on price and customer experience. What's more, it's not always easy shopping beauty and health online. Traditional tools lack personalization and a human touch. You'll know how much more likely your customers are to purchase when they are physically in your store, typically 10x. And this is where our co-founders saw an opportunity. Go in Store was established with the sole mission of recreating in-store experiences for online customers. Our theory being that if we are able to transport customers in store from the comfort of their own homes, they may behave like they do in store. So how can we help? As a video-first platform, Go in Store connects your online shoppers with in-store sales experts. In 2 clicks, customers launch a one-to-one video call with a relevant store colleague who can provide them with personalized health and well-being advice. Our call to action surfaces on web pages indicating when an expert is available, and customers are connected in under 10 seconds. Whether the customer is browsing for new supplements, medical, fitness, or beauty advice, you can be sure they're guided to the best placed colleague who can help them with their needs. As an expert, I'm equipped with a mobile app, and I can toggle between my front and back camera, showcasing relevant products in real time. And once I've made recommendations and helped that customer, I can add products to their online basket or wish list. Our appointment booking integration also provides customers with the opportunity to schedule calls so they can return to your site at a later date and speak with a specialist. Using Go in Store, customers are empowered to make considered purchases online and can walk away with healthcare advice that supports their needs. And for Walgreens, this means you can serve thousands of your online customers on a daily basis who can enjoy the best aspects of shopping in the store, your trusted colleagues, from the comfort of their own home. As you can see from the metrics on the screen, our data backs that up. Go in Store interactions convert at 15 to 30%. Consumers are also walking away with bigger baskets and smiles on their faces. The service is rated 94% by our customers. Our technology powers the likes of AS Watson, M&S, Fragrance Direct on behalf of Coty and Microsoft. Go in Store has a reputation for piloting and scaling with some of the world's largest retailers, and we would approach a launch with Walgreens with the utmost confidence in delivering success. Thank you so much for listening. Are there any questions?
Thanks, Alicia. Marni, we're joined by Jeremy as well for questions. So we've got a double act for the questions, but Marni, over to you.
Hi, Alicia. Thank you so much for the pitch. I'm really interested in the point you made about support with a human touch, because I think that for us is a big place we would like to differentiate, given that we have pharmacists in all of our 9,000 plus stores. I'm just wondering if you could see an application for Go in Store to link people virtually to our pharmacy.
Absolutely, I'll take that one. We've got an amazing array of use cases across different industries. So whether, of course, it is that sort of more retail-focused journey for you, or of course the pharmacy side. A great example of that is we work with Pets at Home. Pets at Home is a massive pet retailer in the UK. They have a really diverse range of services, some of which, of course, are vet services and grooming. And that is a business that plans to start rolling out our technology across that. So absolutely, we would see this. We know that the world of pharmacy and medication is actually moving online itself. So as your regulations and rules change, your ability to prescribe, all based on virtual consultations, I'm sure will provide some unique opportunities for us to partner.
And I'm assuming that the person at home who's interacting with the pharmacist or the sort of store staff is able to kind of have an ongoing dialogue with them. Is that right?
Absolutely. So while the Go in Store connection is immediate, so it's an on-demand service that can be accessed on your website potentially 24 hours a day. So Curry's PC World uses this as a 24/7 service. It can be used at any time of the day. Your customers can reconnect with colleagues who they found particularly useful. They can schedule appointments with particular pharmacies, for example, and it can really be built around your business use case.
Excellent.
Great.
Very cool. Thank you, Jeremy. Thank you, Alicia. We're going to go over to our final pitch today. So that's 5 down, 1 to go. And for our final company, we're looking at how can you take this notion of holistic personalized well-being and use that to start to bundle other products and services into provide more holistic healthcare. So to tell us more from Increasingly, please welcome Sri. Over to you.
Brilliant. Can you guys see me and hear me? Awesome. Good. Hi, my name is Sri Sharma. I'm CEO and co-founder of Increasingly. We're an AI technology that is centered on growing basket revenue for retailers, both online and, interestingly, omnichannel too. And we pride ourselves on primarily helping the customer have a better experience. These are some of the brands that we work with, and actually what you're seeing in that mock-up is actually Boots. So we work with Boots over here, so part of the Boots Walgreens Alliance. The story I want to tell you about is playing to your point that first you want to connect with consumers personally. Now, we all know that to connect with consumers, you need to be where they're discovering your products. And a large discovery point is social media, like Facebook and Instagram. And it's predicted that 5 years from now, Facebook and Instagram Shop, where you place the order on Facebook and Instagram, as you can see here, will account for 15 to 20% of e-commerce revenue. So in that mindset, you really want to help the customer, be it for health, beauty, or well-being, to understand what else they need for their regime. For us to talk about not selling the entire regime or project or look as a missed opportunity by retailers, and they actually quantify it and say it's a 10% missed opportunity. So what we do is we help you surface the top-selling collections, as we call them, but you could call them a bundle or a set, into Instagram, Facebook, into Google Shopping, and also on your website. And this connects to your Instore, of course, too. And we do that with a whole host of clients that I'll talk about. We use AI to do that. Obviously, neural networks to analyze data, natural language processing, and also visual recognition. In Google Shopping, this is what it looks like for Bare Minerals. So if you type in a term, you'll of course find the original product, but you'll also find the top-selling regime, the foundation with the mascara, personalized and actually helping the customer find what they need. Now, our range of products are AI, we call this bundling, and collections on site. And here again on the left is Boots, and on the right, AI collections for marketing. And that's in Google Shopping, Amazon, Facebook, and Instagram. It works. Here's Avon. They see 1.1 extra items purchased per order. Samsung see 28% overall site revenue jump. Across all clients, the headline is 15% revenue uplift, and we're very much enterprise grade. Otherwise, we wouldn't have passed the Boots Walgreens security process. These are some of the clients we work with, so you're definitely in good company. And I'd be a bit remiss not to talk about our awards, because we've won Best Use of AI with Samsung. We've won E-commerce Product of the Year 2 years running. And best of all, we're very light implementation because we're front end, which means we go through Google Tag Manager or anything like that rather than back end plumbing. So it's very easy to work with us. And we connect on the front end, and we also send that revenue into stores as well. And we actually have a range of products for in-store that are coming out in the subsequent year. So going full circle, we're a technology to help retailers sell the entire beauty regime that is personalized to that individual. And we're planning for a world which is going to be further disrupted, where people are actually not only discovering on Facebook and Instagram, but also actually purchasing there. Of course, we're supporting today's world too, being on site and in Google Shopping, and we're boosting revenue 15%. So hopefully that gives you a little bit of an overview, and I'd love to take any questions.
Thank you, Sri. Manu, we've got time for one quick question.
Hi, Sri, that's great. What you just shared is so relevant, because I think as we talk about holistic healthcare, personalized bundles, or as you call them, collections, are so relevant for consumers. I'm just wondering, though, whether there's an opportunity to allow people who have bought products as a bundle to give reviews of the products working together, kind of to lend credibility to the combo.
Yeah, absolutely. Because actually we already pull feeds in of review data. So if we got reviews on that basis, we can surface them. So one of our clients also in home improvement, actually, they're trying to feed in guides on actually how consumers can use the project and the bundle, rather than use individual products. And we're surfacing that within the user experience too.
Okay. Very cool. Thank you, Sri. Stick around because right now it's time for Marni and the team from Walgreens to go off and deliberate and decide who is going to be the winner of the £20,000 paid pilot. So now it's time to check out the winner of the pitch session. As we said, we've gone through 6 different companies that have each given their pitch against Walgreens' brief. And it has been fast and furious, but the team at Walgreens have made a decision. So let's head over to Marni and find out a little bit more about her thoughts on the 6 companies. Marni, I'd love to just get your thoughts on each of the 6 companies before we jump into the winner. So we kicked off this session where we heard from Olvin and their approach to consumer insights. What were your thoughts on Olvin?
So I've had my consumer insights team on the line with me in the chat, and everybody was really interested to hear about how we could predict the why behind consumer behavior. And I think there was a lot that we heard from Sam about the insights we could gain about our position in the market and our competitive set. So that was really interesting.
Okay, cool. And then we heard from Vamp and their approach to getting content through influencers. What were your thoughts on that?
So great passion in our business for using influencers. We don't do enough of it yet. And really being able to leverage influencers, particularly in the space of more discrete conditions that people are maybe less willing to talk about openly, hearing that there are others like them would be a really interesting angle for us. And, we talked a little bit about how we could reach older consumers, which I think is maybe a unique opportunity that isn't widely used in the influencer space.
Yeah, cool. And then we looked at Connexus and their big idea for taking content and making that more personalized. What were your thoughts on Connexus?
So being able to curate content has huge value because being able to bring together disparate messages from different places and really increase their impact, and then also connecting it to a purchase opportunity feels like a big space for us to play.
Cool. The next company we looked at was Cavai with their solution to conversational commerce. What were your thoughts on Cavai?
So Dan talked about personalized micro journeys, and he actually gave an example from Boots, which is our company. So I appreciated the personalization of his presentation. This kind of technology, I think, could really help us in the discoverability, the discovery part of the funnel, and really allowing users to tell us what they're looking for, and for us to link them to the kind of holistic experiences and product offerings that can really help them on the journey.
Okay, and then we had Go Instore with their big idea of connecting pharmacists with e-commerce shoppers.
Yeah, so I can absolutely visualize what Alicia and Jeremy were talking about, being able to sit in the comfort of your own home and connect with a Walgreens pharmacist, maybe even be walked around the store to figure out a confusing category like vitamins, which one is for me. I think there's a lot of opportunity to bring much more personalized recommendations and confidence among customers about what they're actually buying and how it's going to help them.
Cool. And then we finished off with Increasingly. Any thoughts on Increasingly?
I love the idea of creating bundles and collections of products that help people more holistically, because anyone who's ever shopped in a Walgreens store, or really any drugstore for that matter, there may be stuff in aisle 1, 3, 5, 7, and 9 that together would provide you an amazing solution. But how do you know that unless somebody curates that bundle for you? So I love the idea of being able to use technology to really create the best bundles that will help people with the kind of missions that they're on.
Okay, very cool. But of course, Marni, there can only be one winner of the 20K pilot. Who knows, you might work with lots of these companies, but we're announcing one winner today. I'd love you to announce the winner of the 20K paid pilot from Walgreens.
Thanks, Jeremy. So the company that we've chosen out of the 6 fantastic pitches is we'd like to go with Cavai and work with Dan to scope a project, because we're really excited about how the Cavai technology could enable us to bring to life these personalized micro journeys that you talked about.
Amazing. Well done, Dan. Woo! Congratulations, Dan. Well deserved. Well done, Dan. We will connect you to Marni and the Walgreens team right after this for you to take these conversations forward. But thank you so much for joining. Marni, thank you for being an amazing judge as well. And thank you to all 6 startups for some amazing pitches out there, some solutions that are relevant, not just to Walgreens, but to every brand and agency on the call here today.